Subject: ex-girlfriend's open relationship backfired on her. Hey, true story. My name is Jeffrey. I'm 24 years old. I work as a salesperson at a call center, and I go to trade school, college, to learn welding. It's busy, stressful, but I've been trying to set myself up for the future because I know this call center job isn't forever. I just recently found your channel, and man, let me just say, you have no idea how much it's been helping me. I've been binge watching your videos after my night classes, and honestly, some of these guys' stories sound exactly like stuff I've been through. I figured I'd finally send in my own story because maybe some other guy out there is dealing with something similar and can learn from what I went through. This is the story of how my ex-girlfriend wanted an open relationship and how it completely backfired on her. I met my ex my first year of college. Funny enough, we actually went to different high schools, but I knew who she was back then. She wasn't some random stranger. I'd see her around at football games, mutual friends parties, that kind of thing. We never actually talked much back then, but I definitely noticed her. She was always the type to be surrounded by people, laughing, kind of that girl who had a presence. Fast forward to college. I'm doing my own thing, getting used to classes, and I see her on campus one day. At first, I wasn't sure it was her, but when we locked eyes, she smiled like she knew me. That gave me enough courage to walk up and say, "Hey, didn't you go to Walbert High?" She laughed and said, "Yeah, and you went to Clifton, right?" From there, it was just easy. We talked about people we both knew, reminisced about high school football games, joked about teachers we remembered. It felt like we'd been waiting to actually talk for years, and when we finally did, the chemistry was just there. The relationship. We started hanging out more, grabbing food, studying together in the library, and before long, we were officially dating. And man, I thought I had something special with her. It wasn't just the physical attraction, though she was definitely beautiful. It was that we actually clicked. We made each other laugh, we could talk for hours, and it felt like she genuinely cared about me. She'd come over to my parents' house and hang out with my family. She helped my mom in the kitchen, played games with my little brother, and my dad even liked her. And I'll be honest, my dad does not like many of the girls I've dated. Her family was just as welcoming to me. Her dad would always joke with me about sports. Her mom would send me home with leftovers after dinner, and her younger sister used to tease us nonstop. I felt like I belonged there. That first year together was amazing. We went to concerts, we took trips to the lake during summer, we celebrated holidays with each other's families. It felt like the kind of relationship everyone wants in college, and I really thought it could last. Other women. Now, I'm not saying this to brag, but there were definitely other women who liked me. Girls in my classes, girls I'd known from high school, even coworkers at the job I had back then. I'm not blind. I knew the attention was there, but I never entertained it, not even once. I really liked my girlfriend, and I didn't want to mess that up. I figured, why chase after attention when I already have a good thing at home? That was my mindset. I was loyal. I was locked in. The open relationship conversation. Then came the conversation that changed everything. One night we were hanging out in her dorm. Everything seemed normal. We'd ordered pizza, we were watching Netflix, just chilling. Out of nowhere, she paused the show, looked at me and said, "Can I ask you something kind of out there?" I said, "Sure," and she goes, "What would you think about opening up our relationship?" At first, I laughed because I thought she was joking, but her face was serious. She started rambling about how we were still young, how people in college experiment, how monogamy isn't natural, and how we should at least try it. I just sat there staring at her because this came out of left field. I thought we were solid. We never had issues with cheating or trust. We had fun. We had families who liked each other, so why? I asked her straight up, "Why do you want this? Is there somebody else?" She swore up and down there wasn't. She said she just wanted to experience things while still being with me. Now, here's where people might think I'm dumb. I actually said, hey, why not? But let me explain why I said that. Deep down, the second those words came out of her mouth, I knew it was over. I knew if she was even thinking about being with other people, our relationship was already on borrowed time. So my mindset was, fine, if that's what you want, then go ahead. But I'm not going to sit here and wait around. The very next day, I was in class, and this girl who had always liked me was sitting next to me. She'd flirted with me before, but I never entertained it. This time, though, I flirted back. She was shocked, but excited. At the end of class, she asked me if I wanted to grab coffee. I said yes. That one coffee turned into hours of talking. We clicked immediately. It wasn't forced. She actually listened to me, laughed at my jokes, and didn't play games. Pretty soon, I was spending all my extra time with her. My girlfriend's reaction. Now here's the funny part. My girlfriend, the one who wanted the open relationship, was furious. She started noticing I wasn't texting her as much, I wasn't rushing over to her dorm, and I wasn't giving her all my attention like before. She confronted me one night demanding to know who I was talking to. I didn't want to hide it, so I told her I'd been hanging out with another girl. She flipped out. Not long after, she actually tracked me down at the park. I was sitting on a bench with the new girl just talking, and my girlfriend shows up. She starts yelling, accusing me of disrespecting her, acting like I had just betrayed her. I reminded her, "You're the one who wanted this." She didn't care. She wanted all the freedom in the world for herself, but the second I used that same freedom, it was a problem. The truth comes out. For weeks, she kept dodging me when I asked her who she was messing with during this so-called open relationship. She wouldn't tell me, just kept saying it didn't matter. Well, eventually, I found out anyway. Word got around, and I learned she had been sleeping with my step-cousin. That was the moment I lost all respect for her. It's one thing to want to see other people, but to go and hook up with someone that close to my family, that crossed the line completely. The end. She eventually came to me, demanding that I stop seeing the new girl. She said we should close the relationship again and go back to how things were. I told her no. I told her straight up, this isn't working anymore. We should probably end this. She didn't take it well. She started harassing me, blowing up my phone, showing up places I'd be, even crying and accusing me of cheating before the open relationship. She completely twisted the story in her head, acting like I was the villain when she was the one who wanted all of this in the first place. At that point, I just stayed away. I moved on with my life. Where I'm at now. Looking back, I don't regret how it ended. I learned a lot about people's true colors. Sometimes someone will ask for something they're not even ready to handle themselves. She wanted the freedom of an open relationship, but she didn't want me to have that same freedom. She thought I'd sit at home waiting for her while she did her thing. When she realized I could move on just as fast, it destroyed her. That's her problem, not mine. As for the new girl, I'll be honest. At first, things were great, but I started noticing some red flags with her too, and eventually I realized she had a whole roster of other men she was entertaining. I didn't get serious with her. So like I said, I met this girl in class. She had been showing me interest even before my ex brought up the whole open relationship thing. I just never acted on it because at the time I was committed. The very next day after my ex suggested opening things up, I finally gave this girl some attention. And man, she lit up. I'll call her Kayla for the sake of this story. Kayla was one of those girls who had a bubbly personality. She was always cracking jokes in class, always had people around her, and she seemed genuinely fun to be around. Compared to the tension I was starting to feel with my ex, Kayla was like a breath of fresh air. That first coffee date, we talked for hours. I don't even remember studying that day. I just remember thinking, this is easy. I didn't feel judged. I didn't feel pressured. It was just natural. The honeymoon phase. The first couple of weeks with Kayla were great. She texted me good morning. She actually asked about my day. She made me laugh. We'd meet up at the park, go out for food, or just sit in my car talking for hours. After how messy things had gotten with my ex, this felt like the reset I needed. Kayla didn't bring drama at the start. She didn't make demands. She wasn't checking my phone. She wasn't questioning me every 5 seconds. And because my ex had already been nagging me and accusing me of cheating, Kayla felt like the opposite. She also made me feel wanted, and that's something I think a lot of guys overlook after a breakup. You want to feel chosen again. After my ex basically said, "Hey, I want other options," it stung. So when Kayla came along, giving me her time and attention, it healed my ego a little. But here's the thing I didn't realize. Sometimes the attention feels good, but that doesn't mean it's real. Cracks in the foundation. I started noticing little things about Kayla that didn't sit right with me. At first, I brushed them off, but looking back, they were all major red flags. For example, the constant phone use. We'd be hanging out, and she'd always be on her phone. I mean, always. At first, I thought she was just chatty with her friends, but then I started noticing she'd turn the screen away from me whenever a certain notification popped up. The vague answers. I'd ask her about her weekend plans, and she'd always give me these half answers. "Oh, just hanging out." "Hanging out with who?" She'd laugh and change the subject. The friends. She mentioned friends a lot, but never specified if they were guys or girls. I don't believe in being controlling. I'm not the type to tell someone they can't have friends. But there's a difference between honesty and hiding things. Social media behavior. On Instagram, she was posting selfies constantly, and I noticed a lot of the same guys were always commenting heart emojis or flame emojis. When I asked her about it, she said, "Oh, they're just friends." Now, let me stop here to say, none of these things by themselves would have made me walk away. But when you put them all together, you start to realize something's off. The turning point. The real turning point came about a month into talking to Kayla. We had been hanging out consistently, almost every other day. One night, I texted her to meet up after my class, and she hit me with, "I can't tonight. I already have plans." I asked, "Cool, with who?" She said, "Just a friend." Now something in my gut told me to press further, so I said, "Is it a guy?" She replied, "Does it matter?" And right there I realized, yeah, it matters. Not because I want to control her, but because if we're spending all this time together and getting closer, I at least deserve to know what's going on. But instead of answering, she dodged again. "Why are you acting insecure? I thought you were chill." That word right there, insecure. I've noticed people like to use it as a weapon. The second you start asking questions or noticing sketchy behavior, they flip it on you and call you insecure. It's a way to silence you without addressing the truth. Confirmation? The real confirmation came through a mutual friend of ours. One day I was sitting with a classmate who also knew Kayla. Out of nowhere, he said, "Yo, you still hanging out with Kayla?" I said, "Yeah, why?" He gave me this look like he didn't want to say anything, but he finally goes, "Bro, I don't know how to tell you this, but she's talking to multiple dudes, like a whole roster." At first I didn't believe him, but then he showed me screenshots of group chats he was in, where people were literally joking about Kayla juggling guys. She had one dude picking her up for food, another one helping her with homework, another one just for hooking up, and then me. That was the moment it all clicked. The constant phone use, the vague answers, the friends, it all added up. The confrontation. The next time I saw Kayla, I decided to confront her. We were sitting in my car and I just asked her straight up, "How many guys are you talking to?" Her face froze. For a second, I thought she'd deny it, but instead, she smirked and said, "Why? Are you jealous?" I told her I wasn't jealous, I was just trying to understand what this was. Was I just another number on her list, or did she actually care about me? That's when she hit me with, "We're not exclusive. I never said we were. I'm just having fun. And that's when I realized I had been ignoring all the red flags because I wanted to feel wanted. The exit. After that conversation, I pulled back. I stopped texting her as much, stopped asking to hang out. She noticed, of course. She'd blow up my phone some nights, asking why I was being dry. But I didn't owe her anything. She made it clear what this was. Just fun for her, nothing serious, so I treated it the same way. Eventually, the calls and texts slowed down, and we just faded out. The lesson. Looking back, I don't hate Kayla. She didn't really betray me because she never promised exclusivity. The problem was I assumed we were building something real and she never corrected me. She let me believe I was special while she kept her roster in rotation. The lesson I took from this: pay attention to actions, not words. If someone is vague, always on their phone, dodging questions, posting thirst traps for validation, it's usually not because they're just friendly. It's because they're entertaining multiple people. Moving forward. After Kayla, I decided to stay single for a while. Between my ex wanting an open relationship and Kayla having her roster, I realized I needed to focus on myself. That's when I really doubled down on work and trade school. Welding has been keeping me busy, and honestly, it feels good to be building towards something solid for my future instead of chasing relationships that aren't going anywhere. I'll be honest though, true story, it's tough sometimes. Watching everyone else couple up or post their happy relationship pictures on Instagram makes you wonder if maybe you're just unlucky. But then I remind myself, how many of those happy pictures are just for show? My dad is one of those old school men. He doesn't talk a lot about feelings, and he definitely isn't the type to sit you down and give you long-winded lectures. But when he does speak, he says things that stick. After the whole Kayla situation, I was sitting on the back porch one evening. My dad came out, lit a cigarette, and sat next to me. He doesn't usually start conversations, but that night he just said, "You've been looking stressed, son." I laughed and said, "Yeah, you could say that. Women, school, work, just a lot on my plate." He nodded slowly, took a drag, and said, "That's your problem right there. You're trying to carry too many plates at once. You're focused on women when you don't even have your own life set up yet." That hit me. We ended up talking for hours. He told me stories about when he was my age, working 2 jobs, saving up for his first car, trying to figure out what kind of man he wanted to be. He admitted that he wasted too much time chasing women instead of chasing opportunities. He said if he could go back, he'd spend more of those years building his foundation. My dad's advice. The way he broke it down was simple. Get your money right. He told me, you can't build a life with anybody if you can't even pay your own bills. And he's right. Right now, I'm balancing a call center job and trade school. It's not glamorous, but I'm doing it because I know welding can open doors for me. My dad told me to keep pushing through school, stay disciplined, and not get distracted. Get your mind right. He said, you've been through 2 messy situations back to back. That's going to leave scars whether you admit it or not. Don't drag that baggage into another relationship. Heal first. That stuck with me because he's right. I was looking for validation after my ex hurt me. Kayla made me feel wanted, but I wasn't really in the right headspace to be building something serious. Get your house in order. He told me, when you're a man, your priority is building stability. Women will come and go, but stability stays with you. He said if I focus on my career, my savings, my health, then later, when I do decide I'm ready for a relationship, I'll be in a much better position to choose wisely. Reflection. After that talk, I really started reflecting on everything I'd been doing, and I realized, he's right. Think about it. What did chasing my ex get me? Stress, betrayal, and wasted time. What did Kayla get me? More stress, confusion, and the realization that I was just another option on her roster. Meanwhile, when I spend my time focused on school or work, I actually feel progress. Every time I master a new welding technique, every time I hit my sales quota at the call center, I feel myself building towards something real. That progress doesn't disappear overnight because someone catches feelings for someone else. That progress stays with me. My current routine. Just to give you an idea of how my life looks now. Daytime. I work at the call center. It's not my dream job, but it pays the bills, and I use it as motivation. Every rude customer I deal with reminds me why I'm pushing myself in trade school. Evenings, I head to trade school. Welding isn't easy, but I've actually grown to love it. There's something satisfying about creating something solid with your hands, something permanent. Weekends. I've been spending more time with my family. My little brother looks up to me, and I've been trying to set a better example for him. I even help my mom out more around the house, which she appreciates. And in between, I've been hitting the gym a few times a week. Nothing crazy, but enough to keep my body sharp. Compare that to when I was with my ex or Kayla. Back then, half my mental energy was wasted wondering who they were texting, who they were with, or when the next argument was coming. Now my mind feels clearer. What my dad reminded me. One thing my dad told me that I'll never forget. Son, women respect a man with direction. If you're focused, disciplined, and building something, the right woman will notice you without you even trying. But if you're running around chasing every girl that looks at you, you'll lose yourself. That advice hit me hard because that's exactly what I was doing, chasing attention. After my ex embarrassed me, I craved validation. I wanted to feel like I mattered again. And Kayla gave me that at first, but it wasn't real. Now I see the bigger picture. The more I focus on myself, the more I'll grow. And when I do eventually meet someone, I'll be in a position where I don't need her. I'll just want her. That's a huge difference. The peace of being single. I think a lot of guys are scared to be single. They jump from one relationship to the next because they don't want to be alone. But being single has actually given me peace. I don't have to worry about arguments. I don't have to worry about who's liking whose photos on Instagram. I don't have to worry about being accused of cheating when I haven't done anything wrong. Instead, I can put all that energy into myself, into welding, into my career, into my health, into my family. And you know what? It feels good. Advice for other guys. If I could give advice to anyone reading this or listening to it on your channel, it would be this. Don't be in such a rush to find a girlfriend. I know society makes it seem like you're supposed to always be in a relationship. Like if you're single, something's wrong with you. But that's not true. Sometimes being single is the smartest decision you can make. Because here's the reality. The wrong relationship can destroy you. It can drain your finances, your energy, your confidence. Meanwhile, the right relationship will add to your life. But you'll never find the right one if you're constantly chasing while unprepared. So my advice is build first, date later. So yeah, true story, that's where I'm at now. I've realized that right now, at 24, the last thing I need to be worried about is having a girlfriend. My focus needs to be on school, work, family, and building the man I want to become. Relationships will come and go. But if I don't take care of myself first, none of them will last anyway. I know this email isn't as dramatic as my first two, but I think it's just as important because at the end of the day, not every story has to be about betrayal or drama. Sometimes the best story is realizing that peace, focus, and self-respect matter more than having someone next to you. Thanks again for giving guys like me a place to share this. I'll keep you updated down the road, but for now, I'm keeping my head down, working on myself, and letting life play out. Jeffrey.